California dreaming about you.
Davey Allison, winner at Richmond in March, and Ernie Irvan, who won a last lap thriller at Talladega this May. Watch this battle for 5th place. Davey Allison trying Terry Labonte. Not this time. Labonte in the Kellogg's car, acknowledged as one of the best road racers in NASCAR. And this track is so flat, Neil, same type of smooth driving style might serve him well here.
That, along with the fact we were watching telemetry a while ago, you can see him using a brake a lot. Some tracks you go to, you just barely touch the brake, but it requires a good bit of braking getting in this corner. That road racing pays off on that also.
53 laps complete. 3 Fords, 2 Chevrolets in the top 5. Up at 2nd place, Mark Martin now has a mirror full of Davey Allison in the Texaco Haviland Ford.
Yeah, and we would show you the leader, Sterling Marlin, but he just checked out with these two guys. He's about 3 seconds up there. If he wants TV time, he's got to slow up a little bit.
And a bunch of lap cars in between them.
Mark is good at working his car as good as his car wants to go. If it's flying, he checks out. And right now, the thing's not just like he wants it, but he's using it. Now, maybe I get up here, try to pass him, Mark, and pull out a little bit. Maybe you work on him, he'll pull out a little bit. These two cars are pretty even back, 2nd, 3rd place.
I mean, he's working that wheel pretty much.
Yeah, I think right now he's got a little bit of let's see, we'll watch his hands. I can tell he's pushing just.
We had a pass for 2nd place. Davey Allison took it away from Mark Martin while we were in commercial. Let's show it to you from our Ray Bestis Brakes helicopter-mounted camera.
Took that inside lane that we've been talking about that's so critical, getting down in the corner, then beat him right up off the corner. And now that he's passed him, Bud, he's starting to reel that leader in.
You know, Neil, we were talking earlier today about Davey. A flat track like Phoenix here, he just excels. For some reason, I guess learning at Birmingham, you know, and running weekly down there, he's got a knack of saving his tires and getting back on the throttle really smooth, and he flies on the flat track.
Yeah, you know, Richmond, Virginia, a good example. And Birmingham is flat as a pancake, and that's where he did a lot of racing before he moved into this. Some of these lap cars have really held him. Look at Davey behind him now. He's been held up about 2 laps in a row with a couple of these cars. And Davey Allison really wound him in here just the last 2 laps.
Jeff Burton trying to stay on the lead lap, but Marlin will get under him. Here's Davey Allison, the 2nd place car, a winner at Richmond and a runner-up at Martinsville this year. 3rd at Dover, last time we were on a mile.
Now the key is, since the 8 car got under him, can Davey get up and take advantage of that inside line also before he gets trapped behind these lap cars?
Well, guys, they're all getting ready to make pit stops down here. Remember Mark Martin's pit right now. They're getting ready. Kyle Petty, the 8 car, most of them are figuring around lap 75. But the one exception to that is car number 11 of Bill Elliott. He hasn't been in the top 15 all day. Hasn't been a factor up front. Virginia Johnson told me they could run 95 laps. That's 20 laps longer than the other teams are figuring.
I can tell you, Davey Allison's car is misfiring. It's misfiring in the right direction because he's flying right up on the back of Sterling Marlin. What it might be is a pinhole in the intake there, and you're shooting cold air in on the exhaust, and it does fire out like that.
Davey drops under Wally Dollabag in the Keystone car. Dollabag going the lap down. Jeff Bodine is on pit road, so is Joe Nemechek and Kenny Wallace.
Absolutely no adjustments that I saw. Possibly trying to get inside of Davey's car. He's down the way. A great pit stop for the Allison team also.
The guy needs on pit road
There's
now.
the yellow.
Boy, if he'd stay out, he'd about have a lap on the field.
I bet it's a 17 pitted. He never does.
Yes, that hell's all wrong. No, I think they've all stopped.
Yes, Elliott stopped. Yeah. How about Waltrip? How about Darrell?
Waltrip was a lap down.
But did he stop?
Right. He might have been back on the lead lap.
He probably did. He didn't have to stop yet because he made all those stops under caution to try to adjust that miss. Instead of filling it with gas every time. So basically,
hey, Davey may have put Ernie Irvan a lap down on that cross start finish line.
He did.
He did.
I don't think Ernie had stopped yet.
Of course, he's probably already.
Ernie had not stopped for the same reason.
Okay, gotcha.
But I think Ernie went a lap down.
Yeah, showing Ernie 87 laps and the other's 88.
I think that was for position, guys, because Ernie had not stopped because he had stopped so many times under caution.
Well, scoring is showing it as a lap, Glenn.
Yeah, I'm going to find out. I don't think that's right, though.
As they raced back to the flag, Davey Allison beat Ernie Irvan to the flag. Lake Speed took Davey all the way down to the bottom of the racetrack so he could stay on the lead lap. Irvan was not quite as lucky. The Kodak car is now a lap down to Davey Allison, the race leader. We are back to green. Musgrave's going to try it. He's going to get it. Back on the lead lap now. Allison has to look left for Earnhardt. Finds him. Here comes Marlin for the lead. Look at all the momentum Davey Allison lost after that brush and slide with Earnhardt.
Back there. That's why the Bulldog took a bite out of it.
Back in Stanton's quarter panel. They didn't mess up the rear spoiler.
See if we can see it from inside Jeff Gordon's car, and Allison's car just gets sideways again. He hauls it back in, but he has lost quite a few positions from the lead.
We see the 18 car right there under Davey Allison. Jarrett trying to get under him also.
You see Rusty Wallace moved up there quite a bit on that stop.
Neil Jarrett to the inside of Allison. Sterling Marlin is again the race leader. Mark Martin now second.
This car, Rusty Wallace, is really hooked up. He's going by Davey Allison. No problem whatsoever.
NASCAR officials issued a reprimand down to the pits of Earnhardt, telling car owner Richard Childress any more contact, they will deal with it. Let's have a look again at what happened as Allison, the race leader, Earnhardt on the inside, trying to get a lap back.
The 55 car took that inside line, 28 out there. Earnhardt goes in there, gets right up in the left rear of Allison. 8 also got him in the rear when it got him out of shape there.
Looked like the front end on Earnhardt's car might have broke loose a little bit there, Neil.
Sure got in that quarter right there, and it looked like the 8 might have tagged him a little bit also. Got Davey out of stride, shoved him out outside lane. He lost a lot of positions.
Allison currently 5th. Check that, make that 5th, 6th, 7th.
Well, guys, on the Davey Allison car, while he slowed up, they're really concerned about the car. They're not quite sure what it was. They thought they had a lot of buildup on the right-hand side tires. Davey was a little concerned that he might lose the car going in after the restart. He slowed down, then he thought he had a flat. Now he's saying he's got something loose on the car. So Davey doesn't quite know what's wrong with it, but they're going to try and ride it out a little bit, get a little feel for it. If they have to come in, they will.
Again, Neil, that top groove down in 1 and 2, the rubber kind of sits up there. After you've been running down on the bottom, it's real easy to find the marbles here. You don't have to step too far out of the groove to get there.
When they talk about build-up, these guys had just pitted prior to that caution 2 or 3 laps. They got heat in their tires. The caution came out. They didn't want to pit again, so in turn it really stuck a lot of that build-up on those tires. It'll take a lap or 2 to get them cleaned off, and that's what he was questioning. He just didn't have the feel he wanted with the car at that time.
There's the factory stores for it. Dick Trickle, 75. Allison works the outside, trying to move back up on Rusty Wallace.
That was the point I was trying to make a while ago. On a restart like that, if you don't clean your tires really well, everybody said, well, Earnhardt just run into him. That's not necessarily so, because you can have all that buildup on the tire, and he goes in there. It's just like hitting sand in the driveway. You just skate right across the racetrack.
Well, look at the inside. It looked like he got a pretty good shot in that left rear housing of the car. And right here we can see that there's no riding left on the left rear tire. I was trying to see if you can tell for sure hit the body work. I was concerned about damage to the rear end housing. It's hard to tell right now.
The other thing about the left side of these cars is you see how much clearance they leave between the tire and the fender. As opposed to a Daytona or a Talladega car, you leave a lot of open space there for just that reason.
Yeah, the Daytona and Talladega, they look like airplanes. The fenders miss the tires by a 1/16 of an inch. They come here, look like they took a torch and cut it off just to get it out of the way.
Davey Allison and Mark Martin moving up on Rusty Wallace. On our 800 number, Carol from New Hampshire couldn't get tickets for today. She wondered if I was on the Winston Cup schedule for next year. Yes, Bill France, the pre-race, announced that he was proud to be associated with the Bear family in this great facility and hopes to be back here for many years to come.
Okay. Yeah, and Davey had a lot better restart that time. I think he cleaned his tires a little bit better, and he's on the move now. It looks like his car is dialed in. He may just get by the 2 car. He's getting off the 10 a little bit faster, or has been. The minute I said that, he got the 4 car.
Now, Earnhardt got his lap back, but he has not shaken Sterling Marlin. He's still right bumper to bumper with the 3 car.
Unless they've made some chassis adjustments to really help on those cars. He was able to get bang after 4 or 5 laps.
Davey Allison closing in on race leader Sterling Marlin as we come up on 150 laps, halfway, 5 laps from now at New Hampshire. Davey Allison trying the inside as we give you our Napa field standing update because there are no unimportant parts. Napa. Davey Allison looking for Sterling Marlin's lead position.
Looked like he had that inside line. He lifted a little bit. Sterling came down. Allison's been rolling him in, but look at the 2-car. He's sitting there right there with him. Talking about braking being a big factor. Rusty Wallace's team really works on that braking stuff. Henske's involvement, road racing. He should be in good shape.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Also the only guy in the booth who's hit the wall here. Let's see, right about there.
That goes along with it, Mike.
And there. And a couple places up and outside the road course.
Boy, we saw Allison moving there and got the nose up around the 8. I thought he could come right back. But sometimes you make that run and you just got to settle everything back down, get the car under you, get that feel back, and then make that run again. I think that's what Davey's getting ready to do.
Following Sterling Marlin into turn 1. 57 laps.
Looks like Davey's car is able to run through the middle of the corner just a little bit lower than the 8 car. Seems to roll free right in the middle. To get in there now, watch him make that little close right there. Try to make the run up off the corner on him.
The long run right there.
Seems to be better down in 1 and 2, Mike. He seems to be able to make a lot of room, a lot of distance up in 1 and 2, and loses some down in 3 and 4.
Well, here he comes out and around earlier. He's way off the pace, either brakeless or without braking effectiveness right now.
Out of the way, very uncomfortable, I guarantee you.
Here's a question from an old-time raceman, Mike from Washington. Why the cars don't have to display their cubic inches on the hood anymore?
Well, they used to do that all the time, but now everybody has the same cubic inches. Used to, you had an option at times, a 427 motor, 366 or whatever, but now everything is 358 cubic inches, and look at the billboards on the hoods. There's not room for numbers anymore.
Right. Buddy, back when you raced and we were still in grade school.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about it.
Didn't they used to put the horsepower on the hoods?
Oh, yeah. We told it all. I mean, we didn't have many secrets back then, but as you said, these are running billboards anymore. Look at this Texaco car right here. Where would you put anything on that hood?
Plus, you'd have to have a lie detector test to get the horsepower numbers.
You might be right. 2 Fords and a Pontiac battle for the lead here at New Hampshire International. 160 laps next time by. The inaugural Winston Cup race.
You know, sometimes I've had these engine builders tell me how good the motors were. The hood aren't big enough for the numbers they tell you.
Now Wallace is right back up to the 2 Fords.
We saw a little bit of this yesterday in the Busch Series. As we talked earlier, run a car hard, get the tires hot, you back up some. Looked like the 8 and the 28 really worked hard on each other a while ago. Rusty's winding them in, but here's Davey trying that move off turn 2 again.
Now, as they come out of turn 2, it's quite a gap back to 4th and 5th. Dale Jarrett and Mark Martin, the 4th and 5th spots, about half the straightaway. So these 3 have not exactly checked out, but there is a little bit of distance.
Now we're getting close to that pit stop. Yeah, they were talking about the next green stop, and guess who has the advantage on that 2 car? Could be tough then.
All right, let's look back to the 4th place car as they come off this corner. There are your 3 leaders, Marlin, Allison, and Wallace. There is Dale Jarrett, and here is Mark Martin. Jarrett is 2.3 seconds behind the lead pack. We'll be back to New Hampshire after this. A word from Davey Allison about what this track might be similar to on the circuit.
Well, it's got a lot of similar characteristics to both places. Martinsville got long straightaways and tight corners. This place has long straightaways and tight corners. Phoenix is a 1-mile track and it's flat. This is a 1-mile track and it's flat. So there are a lot of similarities between the two. Who knows what's going to happen here this weekend? Maybe we'll get it figured out good enough to win the race, and maybe we won't, but it's going to be a lot of fun anyways.
Up front, Rusty Wallace over Davey Allison, Sterling Marlin, Mark Martin, and Ricky Rudd. That's your front 5. There's the separation. Here's Randy.
Well, I'll tell you, Davey Allison is talking to his crew as he goes down the straightaways. It's amazing to me. The car is running second. Davey's having a good run, but they're talking about winning. Davey comes over the radio and says, I think we need to take a bite out of the car when they pit in about 18 laps. Larry McReynolds, the crew chief, says, Davey, do we really want to do that right now? I know it's splitting hairs, but do we want to take a chance on doing that? Davey comes back and says, I think so. So we'll see what happens if they make one chassis adjustment or no chassis adjustments. I'm betting on the driver. What about you guys?
Yeah, if they don't listen to that driver, they might as well put a robot in there. If he thinks that thing needs a round of bite out of it, I can't help but think they'll cater to him on that and take it out and just see if the car gets better, because they've still got enough time in this race. The next caution, they can put it back in.
That's right. As well as he's running, how far back could he fall? Now here's one. Barbara from Arizona calls in a photo finish. If both cars finish in a dead heat, who is the winner? Well, it's a dead heat. They split the money, and they've done it once, and I think the fellow who was involved in it is sitting to my right.
Yeah, I keep telling Cale that the accelerator cable on the car slipped out about 3 inches, and I had to run about half throttle, and he was able to close in on me. We had the only dead heat that's ever been recorded in NASCAR.
For third place in the 1974 Firecracker 400, Buddy Baker and Cale Yarborough. Then they split the third and fourth place money.
You know, I don't even remember. I think we both got paid. Yeah,
I believe
exactly
they did.
what they did. Yeah.
Shows you how important money was to you, buddy. You didn't even notice.
Man, I just love the sport. I never did go in this thing to make a lot of money, and I managed to do just that.
You know, we had Randy tell us a while ago, Davey had like one round of bite out of the car. It almost shows up when you watch. He's able to close in, get down in the corner right here. But in the middle of the corner, Rusty can turn that car down and go. Davey's losing a little bit of time right in the center. So that's one reason he's wanting that round of bite out of that car, so he can pick that throttle up just a little bit quicker.
Wallace and Allison move past Greg Sachs. The country time for it. Cold lemonade wouldn't be a bad thing today. 90 degrees out there in the grandstand.
No, and let me tell you, in the garage area, they keep that lemonade on the back of that tractor trailer rig, and there's a lot of empty cups laying on the ground down there this week.
I'll tell you, in the garage, they were parked right next to Bill Davis, the Bobby Labonte rig with Maxwell House coffee. There's a whole lot more lemonade going out there than there was coffee.
You know, we talked earlier, Davey was wanting that round of bite out. We were talking about how much time was left. Now, do you take it out? When he comes in, they're going to look at one more run. You're not going to have that option to put it in and take it out. They're really going to reevaluate this thing and decide if they want to make that major adjustment.
That's a good part of the radio communication between the pits and the driver. I guarantee you every lap they're talking about what can we do to make this car better for this last run.
Well, they're about 5 laps from having to make that decision for the final pit stop based on the number of laps they've run under green thus far today. There are 65 left in this race.
This is as close as we've seen Davey Allison get to that 2 car in a long time. I don't know if there's traffic or Davey's picking the pace up right here, but sure closed it down.
Rusty Wallace has had 4 wins, a bunch of top 5 finishes, and 2 horrendous flips this season. And his wins have kind of come in spurts. And he could be on another string here.
His flips have come in spurts. Oof. Man, what some rides Rusty's taken. And I tell you what, an attitude for a driver to have. Stuff like that just doesn't affect someone like Rusty. He knows I got good, safe race cars. I got cars can win races. Kind of take them in stride and move on to the next race.
If Davey stops, we'll see the rest of the leaders in very shortly. Pit board is out for Allison. Here he comes.
Boy, those new tires going to feel good because these guys were slipping and sliding a little bit. As these 4 new tires on, these other guys can't wait long.
Gas can in the air for Ricky Rudd as well. There's Davey.
He's got plenty of brakes left. You see the front lock up.
Ted Musgrave is in.
They're not doing anything to the adjustments on the car.
There he goes. He's going to do it.
Okay, here we go.
There's that thing Davey requested.
1 round.
Half a round. They satisfied each other. They won a half a round.
That was a negotiated settlement.
And as they go down pit road, Davey says, "Did you take that round out?" They said, "Yeah, we sure did."
A half a round out of the right rear. Boy, was that a compromise.
TNN's exclusive coverage of the Slick 5300 is brought to you by Coors Light. The silver bullet is the right beer now. That's a wheel off Rusty Wallace's car. It's a sticker tire, one they did not put on this pit stop. Wallace went for scuff tires. Davey Allison put on sticker tires.
Junior, you would think stickers would be better, and they opted to go with the scuffs. They might have found something in practice that's going their way. We'll find out here in a minute, because that's about as close together as we can get them.
A lot of times you'll change and put new tires on the left side and old tires on the right side to take up for deficiency in the handling on the car. And as you see, the two cars were certainly working well. He's run down the 28 car and closed in here to make it a battle for the lead.
Mike, I think you hit on it earlier when you said that 2 laps that Davey stayed out on fresh tires, got those new tires quicker than Rusty, and able to get back. And we saw what a tremendous stop Rusty had. Davey had a good stop too, but those new tires might have been the difference.
And also, to be fair, while we were away, as Darrell Waltrip goes to pit road, Davey did get caught in quite a knot of race traffic, and Rusty was able to scramble back up on him. 254 laps complete.
You know, it's amazing when you think about it. These cars weighing 3,500 pounds, and you can crank those wedge bolts 10 rounds this way, 10 rounds that, change springs 200 or 300 pounds around the shocks, and then you get it down to so fine-tuned in a half a round. Makes a difference. It's amazing.
You see Terry Labonte right here. He's running as well as Rusty Wallace is at this moment, right? He just got messed up on the wreck a while ago, but he's run well all day.
Yeah, he was the last of the cars in the lead lap to make a pit stop, buddy. The winner gets 175 Winston Cup points, plus 5 points for having led at least that last lap of the race. Every driver who leads a lap gets 5 points. The driver who leads the most laps gets another 5-point bonus. So it's 175 for first, then 170 for second. It drops down 5 points per position for the first 7 spots, then it drops down 4 points for a while, then 3 points for a while, all the way back, so everybody gets at least some points. It's a little bit of a confusing system. Developed by Bob Latford, then NASCAR publicist back in the early 70s, and it worked pretty well.
You know, it's kind of confusing, but when we get down to the end of the season every year, we got 3 or 4 guys within just a few points to win the championship, so it's pretty balanced.
Rusty underneath Morgan Shepherd. Shepherd, 15th position, 2 laps down.
That wreck real early must have hurt him, because his car was really good, and that thing has knocked him off the pace some.
They lap around this track at an average of about 125 miles an hour. And again, you saw it's almost a 3,000 RPM difference from the middle of the corner to the end of the straightaway. So here's a good look at New Hampshire International Speedway from our Ray Bestis Brakes helicopter camera. And you see there's almost a straightaway between turns 3 and 4 up there, Neil. Just a little bit of one. Almost makes it a 4-corner racetrack.
Certainly different, I tell you what, but when they laid the thing out, they really thought about what they were doing. It enables these cars to get around this thing without getting in a lot of problems. We've seen cars have trouble, and we're gaining control. That's what I like about it.
This car hasn't had much trouble today. Davey Allison, guy he's tracking, has had a bit there. Dale Earnhardt, brake problems has slowed Earnhardt's progress. He is 27th, 3 laps down, and his closest pursuer in the points chase, Dale Jarrett, is running 4th right now. So that may be a difference of 80 or 90 points that Jarrett could pick up today. He cannot take over the lead, even if Earnhardt were to fall out of the race. Earnhardt moves over, lets the leader pass. So Davey Allison sees his lead go away as a piece falls off someone else's car.
You think they'll stop?
Yeah, I would. As much as new tires mean here, there are only, buddy, there's only 7 cars on the lead lap. Well, I would think you'd have to stop.
There's your answer right there.
I would say they will.
Nice of you to guess now, Mr. Bonnet. So Davey Allison leads Rusty Wallace down pit road, but everybody did not stop. Here's Mark Martin in, Dale Jarrett. Brett Bodine comes down pit road, and you see the 2 pit stops from among the leaders. Now, of the cars on the lead lap, here's Sterling Marlin, Ricky Rudd, and Jeff Gordon also in. Rusty Wallace fast on pit road again, 17.1 seconds.
Boy, they continuously do that.
Davey Allison, 19.3.
What might have made that look a little more offside than it was, Rusty got in his pit first, and they started quicker, but still, you see Rusty going out first.
On the watch, a 1.8 second difference. Let's go back up toward the front. 2nd place, Davey Allison. 3rd place, Mark Martin.
So yeah, Davey's car wiggles that outside lane. He couldn't get a hold of the track like going to. Mark's got that inside line going turn 1.
Which one of these Fords will be up there to challenge Rusty Wallace?
Rusty's hoping they stay tied for a while.
That would benefit him. Martin makes the pass. Davey drops in line, and they will again try and run down the Pontiac of Wallace.
The 60 car is the pole setter for this race. Got a lot of race car. Like Mark's ready to get after him.
I don't think there's anybody on this racetrack more motivated to win a race than Mark Martin. There he is. Full face helmet, that piece of vacuum cleaner hose going back to a cool air can.
Look at the crowd going by in the back window there. You think they're not moving along?
Look at Davey Allison coming up.
Boy, taking a look at that inside. See how hard he holds that throttle down this time, buddy. Well, we saw 8,400 a while ago. That time is not quite as much RPM as he had before.
Well, back straightaway, you don't run as fast as you do down the front straightaway.
This is the battle right here for position because Rusty is checked out to about a 200-yard lead in front of these guys. This is going to be the fight to the end right here for second place.
3 laps to go when Wallace comes to the stripe.
We thought that Rusty might get loose. You see him right there, and there's the interval coming up. You know, a couple hundred yards back, but when he made that chassis adjustment, he set him on fire and he pulled away.
And the car now doesn't look loose at all. He has about 25 car lengths, maybe a third of a straightaway, not even on these two cars.
Maybe 10 miles the way it looks these guys chasing him.
With 2 to go.
This is battle right here, and you could almost tell that Steve Neal felt that they really got a blessing on that last yellow flag because they were kind of out of it. Now they got a chance to at least finish second.
A Ford has not won on a 1-mile racetrack since Phoenix last year, and a Ford has not won a NASCAR Winston Cup race on an oval track since Atlanta this spring.
There's Davey taking a look at that inside. Is Mark going to give him inside lane?
It'll be pretty tough to give it to him. He might take it, but he won't give it to him.
You see the nose of that 28 up under Mark. Back in, jumped out under Mark a little bit right there.
Caught it. 1 to go. Last time around for Rusty Wallace, and this battle for second place.
Davey's going to swing out wide, try to cut the car back down to the bottom. There's Rusty coming off. He's checking out on him.
Here's second place. Davey's got one more shot here at turn 3 to take second place money.
He actually had a little bit better run on the white flag lap.
He did. Rusty's going to come off turn 4 to score his 26th career victory, tying him with Hall of Famer Fred Lorenzen. Mark Martin by a car length holds off Davey Allison for second. Davey Allison's Ford is third. Let's go down to Randy Pemberton.
Well, Davey standing here. Davey, great job today. You took a bite out there with prior to the last caution. It looked right. Rusty went back and did the same thing and just a little better towards the end.
Well, our car was a little bit loose, and we put a half a round of bite in, and that really set the car up, for the end of the race. We didn't need that last caution, but, luck plays an important role in this game, and today was Rusty's lucky day, but we got to congratulate him because they ran a strong race to come from the back of the pack like they did to win it, and we had a good race. Had a lot of fun out there racing today. Texaco Haviland Racing did a great job. It was fun to lead a race for a change, and especially fun to finish on the lead lap. But I'll tell you, Randy, I've had some orders from home. I talked to Krista last night on the phone, and she told me that if I don't tell her, hey, the next time on TV, I'm in trouble when I get back. So, hey, Krista, and Robbie, and Liz.
Okay, so we got the family out of the way. Davey, did you learn anything here today? First time here, you didn't really have a chance to practice that much. I asked Mark the same question. Anything that you do differently coming back up here next time?
Well, as odd as this sounds, I may bring a different race car. We kind of gambled on something this weekend. It sort of worked out and it sort of didn't in some ways, but we think we know what to come back with. Just wait till next year and come back and try it again.
Okay, we'll see you next week. Good luck.
Thanks.
Mike Joy?
Yeah, I think he knows, and he's not telling. Craftsman Tools. When seconds count, there's no time for second best. The official tools of NASCAR present the Winston Cup point standings. Dale Earnhardt saw a big chunk of his 251-point lead go away. He leads Dale Jarrett now by 171 points. Rusty Wallace is now as far behind Earnhardt as Jarrett was coming into New Hampshire, 250 points. Morgan Shepherd is fourth, Davey Allison fifth.